Energy, yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Cry But Don't Quit Show. I'm your host, India Miles, and today we have another guest who's going to be sharing a little bit more about her self-worth challenge and how we can all collectively learn and kind of see ourselves in her journey, okay? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Arielle Ball, and I'm so glad to be here as a guest.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes. So, my challenge is I've noticed a pattern that I have when I date. I tend to overgive and I overshare too early. And I didn't realize that it probably stemmed a little bit from childhood where I was always seeking approval from my mom, trying to overachieve to get like an applause. And I didn't realize that it spilled over into dating. So when I'm dating men, it's like I'm trying to prove my worth by giving or oversharing or being overly accessible too early and too soon before even knowing if they're worthy of that.
Yeah. And you're here because normally when we talk about self-worth, we talk about it in the sense of men trying to aspire to being desired, wanted, loved, accepted by men. That's the standard of our self-worth. And then you have women that end up in bad relationships and then they're like, hey, I'm a queen. I'm worth this. I wanted to approach this conversation of how we contribute to this toxic cycle that we're not happy with. And I'm proud of the work that you've done to break it for yourself. So you are saying that when you entered a relationship, we're talking about weeks in, you're doing the dating, the getting to know each other phase. And that's when you are, if not already looking for something to solve to make yourself valuable to this man, you are essentially giving him what you had hoped somebody gave you. Yeah. So, what comes to mind and the advice that I like to give would be the emotional safety. I think we approach relationships and we're looking for companionship, maybe intimacy, but the emotional safety of what you didn't get from your mom, you've been trying to earn in all of these other relationships. And the whole conversation of self worth is that you don't have to earn anything. You are born entitled to a certain level of love, acceptance, appreciation, admiration. And it's so important that you never find yourself in a situation where you're depleted, so you create something to deplete others. Or, you mask being kind or being generous is really just an incomplete self work where it's like you've never taken the time, maybe because in between relationships you jump from one to the next, or maybe because it was so many other layered problems in the relationship, you never got a chance to take a step back and reassess, what did I bring into this relationship? How would I like this relationship to have gone? And recently, the tool that I've been exercising is, I'm married now, so, happily married. But what would it have looked like in my 20s, like the ideal date? Like the dream guy, like what would I have liked the entire day to have gone like? How would I have liked the conversations to have gone? How would I have liked to have felt? When you grew up in a situation that was not emotionally safe, you're reacting to mom's mood. You're reacting to, oh wow, this person takes interest in me. They find me interesting. I want more of that. That's all reactionary. So you've put yourself in a position, and if you find yourself as a woman in that circumstance where you're essentially taking care of a man, you're essentially, even if it's not that extreme, you are thinking about him more than he's expressing that he's thinking about you, then it's an opportunity for you to create boundaries. And we'll get into a few of those when I definitely want to hear how this first part really lands for you. But you create new rules for yourself instead of these reactionary standards of treatment of like, I never want to feel this way. I never want anybody to make me, chase them and all that. That's kind of step one to really changing your approach, not just to dating, but achieving emotional safety in all areas of your life. How does that land for you?
No, I think that is really important. I don't think I've ever thought about it like that. Like the reasons why I was dating the way I was dating was because I was lacking emotional safety, especially not from childhood. I never correlated it together. So it's really kind of hitting home on how I approach dating now.
Yeah. We hide the loneliness or the attention that we get from men often in companionship or intimacy or you know, we've never been single long enough to really find our identity, and that's other work. But when it comes to self-worth, if you never feel worthy of to feel emotionally safe, where you're not always anxious or afraid or taxed by the people around you, it's like, hey, I've got to do something. I've got to perform something to get something out of this. Then that's self-worth.
Yeah.
And if you grew up with a mother like ours that really just was emotionally unavailable, busy, you know, angry all the time, exhausted, blamed you, just for existing, then you didn't grow up in emotional safety. So you don't even know what it's supposed to feel like, better yet, how to achieve it. So you are essentially working for it when you're not supposed to have to. Okay. So I was really excited about sharing, that topic so that we can separate our dating journey, which is a headache for men and women, that separate from the self work we're trying to do that's going to, outlive a lot of just the circumstantial challenges that we have. So I really want to thank you for being here. And I want to give you an opportunity to share with the audience some projects that you have coming up. Maybe, if they don't know you, some things that you've done in the dating space.
Yes. So actually, I went on a reality dating show 2 years ago. It was on Bravo. It was called King's Court. And funny enough, I actually thought this may work to see if I could find a connection with someone. Ultimately, I made it to the finale, but the person I was dating on the show ended up choosing the other person. But it was a blessing because that was not my person. Currently, I wrote a book. I did some self-reflection this year and I wrote a book, and it's really about like me overcoming some of my obstacles throughout life, especially from childhood to now. Um, and then right now I'm acting. So I'm doing films. I am an actress and I'm currently in 5 movies. So yes.
See what happens when you work on your self-worth, ladies? Doors of opportunity open up. So are you in a happy relationship as well?
No, I'm dating.
Dating. Good.
Dating.
Good. But she's positive about it. When she shared it, she's like, no, she's going to find her person. So you're very optimistic about
Yes.
that. You're also an autism mom.
Yes, my son, and I wrote about him in my book. But I have a 7-year-old son. He has autism. He is so special and so loving. I love him. At first, it took me a long time to accept the diagnosis, a very long time. I couldn't say the word autism without crying. And I'm a healthcare provider, so imagine that. But right now, I am blessed to be his mom. I feel like God gave me him for a reason and knew that I could parent him. So I'm definitely an autism advocate, and I want to bring more awareness, especially for like Black moms and single moms.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for watching another episode of the Cry But Don't Quit show. Tune in. We'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arielle.